So the other thing great about native bees, about our solitary bees, is that they're not aggressive. They don't tend to sting. You really have to work hard to get them to sting you. And not all of them can. Most of them have ovipositors or stingers that can't penetrate our skin. Remember I said there's that one that bites a little bit? That's because it can't actually sting us. And so it'll bite a little bit. But so these can be, I get a lot of calls, we need to get these out of the ball field. I've seen kids just playing right over them in a soccer field with dirt patches in there, and they're none the wiser. And so they tend to be relatively safe. Nesting resources also is stem nesters. So there's a lot of bees that nest in the pithy centers of stems, or these are paper straws. Paper straws, you can use those as well. But some of these things like sumac, box elder, elderberry, raspberry can be really important plants for stem nesters. And then you can also use nesting blocks. So this is a project, I actually did this with one of the elementary schools in Portland. Their third grade class was doing a whole section on bees and pollinators, and so they made up a bunch of bee houses. They did theirs this way, so they got some PVC pipe, stuffed them with straws, just these little paper straws, and then they decorated the outsides and hung these up and brought in pollinators. But you can even do stuff. This is just a 4x4 post piece of scrap wood that I had underneath my barn. Everybody's got piles of scrap wood underneath their barn, right? And so it's literally as easy as drilling holes, and you drill them at various depths. You don't go all the way through, and you different widths as well. And you can hang these up. The bees will nest in here, and then bring them in during the winter, and then put them back out in the spring, and you can watch the bees emerge back out, and then they'll reuse the same block over and over.
Excuse me, you said bring them in. Would you bring them in the garage? You wouldn't want to put those in your house.
You do not want to put them in your house. You want to keep them someplace that still stays freezing, but doesn't, not like hard freezing. So your unheated garage. If you put them in your heated garage, you will have bees in your heated garage. So, and then you can even, so this was the project that we did with the third graders. You can even make kind of more elaborate ones. This was also just junk wood that I had laying around in my yard, underneath my barn, and you can pack it full of straws, twigs, bamboo. This bamboo is too wide, but it gives you the idea that if you get thinner bamboo, they can nest in there. You can make bee hotels doing it, and so you can really make it a whole kind of learning aspect to pollinator conservation. So, yeah. The other thing that schools can do is support a bee club. This doesn't necessarily mean, does not have to have hives on campus. A lot of campuses don't and will not allow hives on campus. I completely understand that. But it can be a group of students that are really interested in some sort of aspect of bee conservation. So it could be something like planting gardens, advocacy, bringing in speakers just to talk to the student body, public service, field trips, and it could be beehives on campus. So bringing speakers into the classroom can be really important, and also it kind of gives teachers a bit of a break on those days, right? I know how it goes. But reaching out to your local beekeeper, have them come in, bring in some of their gear, talk about it. The kids get really super into it. Reading bee stories, there's a million books out there. I actually just did a couple weeks ago, I went around and read The Bumblebee Queen to a bunch of classes. They really liked it. Your gardeners, your local gardeners, pretty much anybody can come in and kind of talk about some of these issues and aspects of them. And it can be a really dynamic thing for your classrooms to do that. Beehives on campus, we have Hamden Academy, Georgetown Elementary, South Portland High School, Cape Elizabeth High School. I haven't been out to see theirs yet. They're brand new. They all have hives on campus. A lot of the universities do as well. University of Maine in Orono, Colby, College Atlantic, Unity, Bates College. Bates doesn't have bees, but they have a bee club. Their bees are kept off campus at a faculty member's house, and they go and visit them there. There are always concerns when it comes to having bees on campus. Safety, funding, beekeeping can be expensive. The student involvement, sometimes, depending on the year, students can be more or not involved at all. And having somebody on campus that can actually help them with those bees. So Hamden didn't have anybody on campus that knew anything about bees, so they actually talked to a local beekeeper, and he comes in and helps them. And at South Portland, the beekeeper, the advisor on campus is not a beekeeper, but she's learning really fast. And so, all different styles. Safety has been the major concern, so if you ever go to this with your school board or your upper administration, they're gonna have issues about safety, and that is completely understandable. Most campuses, when they get them, they require fencing, they require a limited number of hives, usually 1 or 2, and usually you have to have a supply of EpiPens on hand just in case something happens. But the kids who do it seem to get quite a bit out of it. The funding is also a big issue. Beekeeping is expensive. To start a beekeeping, there's a school that pairs with their local hospital, and they actually x-ray the tubes, and they can see the little pupa inside and count them in the tubes. It's really neat. They go the extra mile, that one. And so funding is also important. To start a beehive, you're talking $300 or $400 just to start one. That's not with fencing. That's just the hive. So one set of bees is like $160, and then the wooden ware and stuff like that, and one bee suit. So you're talking, this is going to be a lot of money to outfit a lot of children or kids with this stuff. So you get tools, safety gear, the fencing, all of that stuff adds up. Many of the schools raise money in kind of unique ways. They sell the honey for exorbitant amounts because parents love it, and so they will pay $40 for a thing of honey. They sometimes will have unique raffle items. So this was a chair South Portland made. So the tech kids made this Adirondack chair, and then the kids the students in the bee club painted it, and then they raffled off tickets. I won it. I'm very proud of it. It sits in my backyard. I totally won it, but I bought all of the tickets except for the one. I was like, please take all my money. Yes. So I was like, how many tickets are you selling? They're like, I don't know, And I was like, just here, I'll just write you a blank check. Whatever you have left for tickets, I'll buy them. And so I won it. So I'm a soft touch too. So if you start a bee club, hit me up. I will probably buy them. The Georgetown elementary kids wrote a book, which they sell, about their experience. So the second graders did the text, and the kindergartners drew the pictures relating to the text. And so they sell that. And then there are grants for this sort of thing on campus, especially if it's garden related. Usually you can sneak in this sort of thing too. We've had schools that save money too by the local beekeeper will donate equipment. If it's used equipment, please get it inspected. And then the other thing is often like the woodshop class can make the equipment. So they, South Portland, they actually had the kids make the boxes and the equipment for the hives themselves. And so there are lots of things that you can do to raise and or save money to do this. And then if you wanted to, so there are bee businesses that have them. So if you go to Portland, the Honey Exchange has one. Yep, also in Wyndham, Backwoods Bees has one. There's also in Orland, there's Backridge Bee Supply, they have one. I think they set it up this year. And a lot of the local bee clubs, so reach out to your local bee club, they usually have one that they keep stocked for fairs and stuff like that every year, so